Hi, and you're now with the Forerunner Chronicles, and right now we have Nikki with us, and Nikki is a former model from the music industry. She's in a lot of music videos with artists like the Dipset, Jules Santana, Rick Ross, Trina, different people that everybody out there is familiar with, that's familiar with hip-hop and that whole culture. Anyway, she saw a lot of things within the industry that let her know that this was not something that she should be a part of. And she especially had one interesting instance on a Rick Ross music video set that we're going to hear about in a few minutes. So you definitely want to hear about this. But anyway, I just wanted to thank Nikki for being here with us. Thanks for doing this interview.
And you're welcome.
Anyway, well, listen, just tell us a little bit about yourself. About your whole background.
Okay. Well, I'm from Miami. I'm from actually an area called Opelika, which is, I guess, one of the tougher parts of Miami.
Right.
I actually went to school to study special education. Let's see. I also went for biology because I also wanted to be a doctor. But I ended up stopping school and I actually moved to New York City to pursue more modeling. Yeah, that's about it for my background.
So you're smart. So definitely a smart, definitely a smart young woman. Definitely went to college and all of these things. So what drew you into the direction of going into the entertainment business?
Well, I guess because I thought that it just seemed so glamorous and it seemed like wow, like it's just something that really captured my attention, you know.
Right.
You always want to be the one that's the nice one, the pretty one, you know, the one that everybody wants.
Right.
So I was attracted to like the lights and the shiny stuff.
Right, I understand. That's what most people are attracted to. Okay, so fast forward, you get into the music, you get into the industry, you know, you start modeling, your career goes, pops off, as they say.
Yeah.
Now, what is it that happens in the industry that lets you know that this is not something that you really want to be a part of? What was the first thing that let you know that, this is might not be the right direction for you?
Well, number one was I was contacted by, at the time it was, I guess, Pretty Ricky's manager.
Right.
And this is in, I want to say 2005 or 2006, I believe. And he asked me to audition for some type of tour that they were having. They needed models for. Mm-hmm. And he said to come to some secret location wearing a G-string and to be ready for something called the freak test.
Right.
And he also said, how would I feel if I was to walk into the tour bus and I would see an orgy? How would I feel about that? He asked me how would I feel if I was to walk inside the bus and I saw people taking drugs such as ecstasy, or what are my views about that? And like, what would I do?
Right.
Because they already had a girl that he told me that freaked out and they had to send her home. So now he lets everybody know up front, so they won't be scared, and so they won't have to, spend money on them going home.
Right. So they're trying to check out where your head is at. If, you see them, a host of people having an orgy or, popping pills, smoking, whatever they're doing, they want to make sure that you'll be comfortable in that environment and even willing to, jump in and be a part of it, right?
Exactly.
And so
yeah.
So how did you react to that?
I said, I don't feel comfortable with that. After that, I just left that alone. That was the last time that I spoke to him.
Right.
A couple days after that, he was still calling, still trying to get me to, I guess, change my mind.
Definitely.
Uh-huh.
And so he calls, tries to get you to change your mind, but you didn't change your mind, right?
No, I did not.
All right, that's good. All right, so now, but you continue on in the music industry, though.
Yeah, I did.
Right. So what happened after there? What's the next thing that happens?
The next thing I believe was I got contacted on MySpace about with an entertainment agency, and that's how he got me into the Trina video.
Right.
And that was the first one that I did, and everything got started from there.
And this is like MySpace before Facebook came out.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. This is where MySpace, you know.
Right. And so you get contacted to do this Trina video, and so you're playing like the lead model for the Trina video, right?
Yeah, for one of the scenes, yeah.
Okay. And so I guess you're really encouraged to go fast forward in the music industry from there.
Yeah, that's where everything got started.
So now, what happens though? I mean, what's the turning point? What type of thing? What really happened that opened your eyes up to the fact that, you know, there's something that's within the music industry that is satanic, evil, you know, that people really need to know about, but they're not realizing that that's what's going on behind the scenes. What happened to open you up to that?
Well, you know, I always try to see the good in everybody.
Right.
But, I mean, you gotta be realistic about it. There's people that they may seem nice and they care on the outside, but deep down they have a different agenda. And when I was on the Sean Garrett and Rick Ross music video for 6 in the morning, the director said for everybody to throw up the number 6. And for us to all say, you know, come on, 6. Like, he was making like fun. Like, if I wouldn't have known what it really meant, it just would have went right over my head like it did most people that were there.
So wait a second, say that again. What happened here?
He basically, everybody there was chanting 666. This guy is telling us to all say 666, and I'm like, nobody finds that strange, not even. Do people even know what this means? Like, right. I'm looking around, I guess it just went way over people's heads. If you don't know what that means, of course you're going to start chanting it.
Wow.
That was the last, that was it. I was like,
wow. So everybody's just on the set chanting 666. So you got Rick Ross there, all these guys, and they're chanting 666.
He's telling us to say 666 repeatedly, throw the number 6. And yeah, he's not saying it like he has horns and a pitchfork. He's not saying it like that, but he's coming out as a nice guy, and people there are all nice looking, and everybody is so, you know, supposed to be good. But I mean, we're chanting 666, and nobody finds that strange.
Wow.
Well, since then, I guess the more that I read and the more that I see that everything that I was doing and everything that I was standing up for. I mean, I know that you're just in a music video, or some people say, oh, I'm just rapping or something like that. But if it doesn't line up, I believe that we shouldn't be doing it. And I think that what I was doing was wrong because I was participating and I was surrounding myself with people that we're not doing the will and not doing what
you're saying is valid, and everybody really needs to understand that even though that lifestyle looks very enticing, because it seems like everybody's having fun, especially when you're watching the music videos. It's like everybody's having fun, everybody's always happy, everybody looks good, and you want to be a part of that, and you want to be looked upon as that. And so that's why a lot of people out here trying to emulate that, but they're not really realizing that there's a lot more to it. Before we go, what would you like to tell everybody?
I would like to say, just don't be scared to be different.
What began to develop? Like, what was the moment when you was like, hold up, like, yo, what's this?
It's like this, like, the higher you get, the more demonic influence there's going to be. So, I mean, like, people that are just starting out, they probably don't know majority of what really goes on, but the higher you climb, the more you're exposed. So, I mean, like, you literally have people worshiping Satan. You literally have people just doing all types of just just evil things that are not, the average person would not believe. So, yeah, so it's really like, you know, I mean, you can hear about it in music or in clothes or and stuff like that. So you have to make a decision. I had to make a decision that, like, why would the Most High want me to be associated with people that are not even keeping His word? Matter of fact, they're talking about the opposite of His word. So if I say that I love Him and I love Yahuwah, how do I love Him and I'm being associated with people who hate Him, who hate His word? You know, so that was a point that that kind of like opened my eyes right there to back away from that situation, because at the time it was like, oh, I'm not really doing nothing bad, I'm not doing this, but even just me being in that atmosphere, having fellowship with them, you know, just being in the atmosphere was enough right there.
Wow. Okay. So I mean, so you wake up and you begin to see what's really going on. So like what? So tell me about the transition out of there. So tell me about what about the truth? What is it about the truth? Like, how do you come to the truth? We got about less than 3 minutes, but we can squeeze it in there. Tell me about the truth.
Okay. Well, it all started. For some reason, I kept noticing, like, why was the word Lord? It was all capitalized in the Bible. And then that's when I figured out, oh, well, it was actually replaced. The word Lord was not always there. It was Yahuwah that was there. And then from that, it came to, like, why aren't they keep telling us in church, in the church I used to go to, they never used to tell us any laws. I never even knew all the 10 Commandments. I didn't know none of that, nothing. No one's like anything at all. So I'm wondering, like, why they not telling like the whole truth? Every time I would go to church, it was, oh, you're gonna get your blessing today, and you know, don't worry about your haters, and like stuff like that. Like, why aren't they really saying scripture? And I was thinking to myself one day, what is the point in being a good person and keeping the laws if everyone would get into heaven? Then Yahuwah led me to the scripture that says, not everyone who says to me, Master, Master, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but the one who does the will of my Father in heaven. So, I mean, that was like a big light bulb, because I was also led to read Revelation 14:4 that says that the 144, they kept themselves pure, and they followed the Lamb wherever he goes. And if I said that I love Yahusha, the Messiah, I have to follow him. I can't be in the world, which is the wide gate, when I'm supposed to enter through the narrow gate. You see?
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, that's enough. I know you had like 2 minutes. So.
Yeah, we got less than a minute. We got to get. But we would love. We're probably going to have you again, and maybe, you know, get some more into it. But I mean, that is awesome, you know, because it's so many people out there looking for something, looking for purpose, but they can't find it in what they're looking for. And right. So I thank you for being on the show. And we got less than 20 seconds, but we got to get a plug out. This is the way on Poetic Energy Network, and I want you to tune in to next week, man. We got another special guest. We got James Green, used to be on Drew Hill. So I want you to listen. This is the Poetic Energy Network, the way, and we're out of here.
And not only the image, but even down to the name, where it's only in modern English that we have the name Jesus. A couple of 100 years ago, that name never existed.
The mainstream media is ignoring this information. Most of the alternative media is also ignoring it.
The way. Poetic Energy Network.